What shade is this? Did I use this or did I use this? Oh crap. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, or if you are new here, then welcome. I would love it if you would consider subscribing. Today we're going to be taking a look at the new palette from Goss. This is the Luxury Eye palette in the shade, I guess, Imperial Topaz. It's a 6-pan palette. It retails for $77 Canadian on the Beautylish website. I did not buy the pencils that came along with it as well because $77, but I did go ahead, obviously, and pick up the palette because that was what I was the most interested in. So I haven't played with it yet. I have taken it out and taken a quick sneak peek, but I haven't swatched it, haven't applied it. We're going to do that on camera. I will eventually update as well in terms of whether or not I'm still enjoying it. Hopefully, I'm assuming I'm going to enjoy it, but you know what I mean? Like, it could be a disaster. We'll see. Stay tuned. But today it's a first impression. There it is. Here is obviously what the unit packaging looks like. I will say it is rather, sleek looking, with the exception of the fact that it just attracts fingerprints like a mother effer. I think for the $77 price point as well, the fact that the name of the palette, like the Luxury Eye palette, is on a sticker, that for whatever reason, that kind of bothers me. It just kind of cheapens the look. Like, I understand that he probably is going to use the same boxes for future palettes, but the fact that this one's called the Imperial Topaz suggests to me that they're all going to be the Luxury Eye palette with just different variations. So, like, get that embossed on there. Like Goss is, get that one embossed on there. It's not even embossed, it's printed. I shouldn't say that it's embossed. It's just printed on there. And it would just up the luxe feeling of it. The fact that the ingredients and whatnot and the shade names, such as they are, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, is on a sticker on the back. That doesn't bother me so much, but I think this could have very well just been printed right on the box. Okay, that's a minor gripe. Let's dig into it. So on the inside, I will say that the packaging gets nicer. I like the packaging. So there it is, very classic, clean lines, very sleek and chic, no muss, no fuss, which I like. And then on the back there are, again, I feel weird calling them shade names because they're just numbers, but additional information. There you have it. There's not a ton of heft to it, but it does feel very solid. It feels like, does it sound weird to say it feels like nice plastic? It does. It doesn't feel like it's just going to crumble apart. And then it has a very nice, strong closure. Almost too strong, one might argue. Oh my God, come on. Why can I not open you? Oh my God, why can't I open you? Ow! It's very securely closed to the point of risking actual harm. All right, so when you look at it, there is a very functional mirror in there, and then no wasted space, which I really like. It drives me crazy, especially with 6-pan palettes, when there is just a ton of wasted space in the packaging. It just bothers me. Here, none of that. Also, my first impression when I first looked at this was, holy crap, those pans are big. He kind of warned that they would be large in his video revealing this palette, but I wasn't expecting them to be that large. For the sake of comparison, I have brought out one of my Makeup Geek pans. This holds 1.5 grams of product. And if I put it on top of one of these pans, you can see quite easily what the size difference is. So again, this one has 1.5 grams of product, and then these pans here have 2.7 grams of product. Those are the initial impressions of just how it looks. Now, like I said, I haven't played around with it, so we're going to do that together right now. All right, so let's start off with some swatches. Like I said, I haven't swatched these yet. I've just run my finger around 3 of the pans, so I can say that they do feel very soft, very velvety. The matte black does feel a little bit on the dry side. Now, Wayne did say in his video that he is going to be including a black shadow in all of his palettes, so I'm really expecting that it's going to be a good, solid matte black, because if he's going to put it in every palette, it had better be the best black that has ever hit the market. So we shall see. I haven't even flipped my fingers over to take a look at what like my fingers look like. We're gonna do live swatches together. So here we go. So this is shade number 1, number 2, and then here comes the black one. Fingers are crossed. Ooh, looks pretty good from here. Ooh. All right, I see you. All right, let's get the other 3 going and see what we think. So here we go with shade 4, shade 5, which is the other matte, and then shade 6, which is what he calls a celestial shade. So 1, 2, and 4 are satin, 3 and 5 are matte, and then 6 is a celestial shade. All right, so I am impressed so far. I mean, that's just finger swatches. Don't get too excited. But so far, so good. Nothing super dusty, nothing super patchy. The satins, nope. The satins look very satiny. That celestial shade, it's basically a metallic shade by any other name, but it's very pretty. And I'm impressed with the mattes, especially that matte black. I'm relieved. But finger swatches can be deceiving, so it's time to shove these on the eyeballs and see what we can do with them. Hi, I bet you weren't expecting me to be quite this close, were you? All right, so I have MAC Soft Ochre Paint Pot already on my lids, nothing else going on. I want to use all 6, but I don't want to use all 6 in one eye look because I think that's just going to make it altogether too difficult for me to really be able to tell how they're performing individually. So I'm going to do one eye look here, one eye look here. Might look a little crazed at the end of the day, but hey man, whatever. I'm going swimming with my kids in about an hour, so it's all coming off immediately after I film this anyways, so it doesn't really matter. On that preamble, let's dive straight into it. So what I think I'm going to do on this eye is just a very sort of neutral brown kind of look. So I am going to, what am I going to do? I'm going to use this shade here, number 2, and I'm going to buff that into the crease and blow it out up into the transition area a bit. Now, typically I avoid putting satin shadows in my crease, but there's only 2 mattes and I want to use the other matte with my other eye, so here we are. But also, like, it's workable. It's just a matter of blending, and I wouldn't use like a metallic shade personally, but a satin is a nice little hybrid. It's a gentle little dipping of the toe outside of the matte world, right? So here we are. I will say, just on very initial application, it's blending beautifully, and it is very nicely. I know people get upset for whatever reason when people are like, the shades are pigmented. What other word would you like me to use? The shades pack a punch. The shades are impactful. Now I just feel like a thesaurus. It's pigmented. It is. Look, you can see that it is. You can see that it is. So, just going to continue blending that out a little bit. Just soften up that edge. I'm going to take a little bit of that under my lower lash line as well. A different brush would have been probably less stabby in my eyeball because it would have been smaller, but you know, we learn. We make mistakes and we grow from it, and that's precisely what you're watching me do right now. I'm trying to decide because I'm going to use this satin shade here and then this celestial shade. I'm just trying to decide if I want satin on the lid or celestial on the lid. Inner corner lid, inner corner lid. Let's go celestial on the lid. I'm going to try picking it up dry with a little flat brush just to see. what it's like. These are typically the kind of shades that I either dampen it with setting spray or I just go in with my finger. But I just want to see how it applies straight out of the pan. Altogether, not disappointing at all. I think I'd like it to be a little bit stronger, so I'll probably go in with my finger, but I will say I'm pleased to note that it picks up very easily with the brush. Sometimes these kind of shades, you just kind of move it around in the pan and they're just like, no, I don't want to stick to the brush, thank you very much. This, clearly, that's not what's going on. And there's very little left on the brush, so it's depositing quite nicely on my lids. Excellent, okay. Just to see what I can do to really oomph it up a bit, I'm going to pick it up on my finger and just pat that on. And it does intensify it a bit, as one would expect. And then I'm just going to go back in with that brush with the satin brown and just blend a little bit. And then I'm going to use shade number 1, that satin right there, as an inner corner highlight. And I've just realized that I've not left myself with a new shade to use for my other inner corner highlights, so I'll probably just use this one as well. And definitely a nice finish on this one. There is no glitter in there to be had, and yet it is catching the light nicely on that inner corner there. All right, that's that eye look done. Minus liner and lashes and all that, but I'm not gonna make you watch that because that's not what this video is about. I'm not sure that I'm in love with satin up this high, to be honest. If I was to recreate this look, I would use the matte brown, but for the purposes of this video, it's fine. It's really just about figuring out how the shadows work, not so much how it looks at the end of the day. So don't judge me too harshly, okay? Please just keep your judgment to a minimum. Thank you. All right, so let's get a little bit more dramatic over here. I just deposited a ton of that Celestial shade all over my cheek. Awesome. I will note, it is like all over my fingers. There is no transfer down on my face, with the exception of just a little tiny bit from that inner corner. But my cheeks are clear of any transfer from the brown or from that Celestial shade. So even though it is very metallic looking, it's really not chunky, and no glitter particles have rained down on my face. So yay. Okie dokie. Over to this eye, the shades that are left then are these two here and the matte black. I'm a little bit steeped in regret right now. I'm not sure. I think I probably should have gone like this, this, and this just to make it a little bit more cohesive. But again, this isn't a tutorial. It's just a first impression. So we're just seeing how these shadows play with each other and how they blend out, how they apply, all that ish. Okay, so I want to do a nice like dark smoky-ish eye. Just so that I don't run into this whole satin issue over here, I'm going to pick up the matte brown, shade number 5, and do that one in the crease over here. Moving right along, I will say that that matte blends gorgeously. Like I didn't have to dip back in order to build up that level of opacity. That is impressive to me. Okay, but now the test is playing with the black shadow. Because even though it might finger swatch really nicely, you can never know with black shadows. They could either end up super streaky, they could be really like just super stubborn and they don't blend out. They could be a dream to work with. You just never really know. So we're about to find out. Let's dip on into it and see how we get on with this. All right, so I'm going to place it out here and then get to blending. I'm probably going to speed this footage up because it takes forever to do this stuff. Here we go. I didn't dip back into the pan. I am super impressed by that. I really am. Now, normally when I wear black shadows, I would use like a black base, like the NYX Jumbo pencil in Black Bean. I would normally put that down, smudge it out a bit, and then build the shadow up on top of that. Obviously, I didn't do that today. I want to test the shadows out and see how they perform on their own with just a regular eyelid primer on there. I'm super impressed by that. Like, it could be darker on the lid and I can build that up, but the fact that that is just one, like, that's my technical term for it, and then that is, holy shit. I'm so impressed by that. Now I understand why he wants to put a black in all of his palettes. I think that's not necessarily necessary, but you know, I'm not the one creating the palette, so what do I know? But at least it's not a dud of a shade. If you're going to include something in every palette, it better be effing good, and that's effing good. I'm such a skeptic these days. Like, I'm not gonna like it. I just spent $77 for no reason. Now I'm like, yay, I'm so glad that I like it. I really, really do. I also really like this brush. I bought this from Beautylish as well in order to bump it up to the free shipping, like the free expedited shipping. I don't know how to say this name. Is it Chikuhodo? Is that how you say it? It's the GSN 10. It's a little powerhouse. I'm liking this. Okay, I'm gonna take that black along the lower lash line as well, and then we'll buff it out. What the fuck shade did I use? What shade is this? Did I use this or did I use this? Oh, crap. Crap. Well, fuck. I messed up. I'm sorry. I apologize. Okay. What the fuck did I do? Huh. Okay, well, I'm sure as I edit, particularly this first eye look, I'll be like, that's not the shade you wanted to use, you dumbass. I'm pretty sure I used both of these two. Pretty sure this is what I used in the crease by accident, although I meant to use the other one, but here we are. Here we are. God, you know what? I'm committed to it now. I am not wiping this eye off to start all over again. God, I'm a dumbass. Okay, but I do need to buff this out a little bit underneath here. So, does it even matter what shade I use anymore? Apparently not. Apparently not. Okay, I'm just gonna stick with the matte then, because I'm pretty sure I've got both of these going on the other eye. So I'm just gonna use this one. Yeah, okay. Anyways, not a professional. Here we go. All right, for the inner corner on that one, I'm going to use the Celestial shadow over here. Just, frankly, just to see how it looks on the inner corner. Again, I regret that. Let's use the satin one instead. That'll be way less harsh up there. Okay, I'm gonna put on some liner and mascara and then I'll come back, give some final thoughts, and then release you from this shit show. All right, hold tight. All right, and there are the finished looks with liner and mascara. I just smudged some pencil liner into the lash line here and then used a liquid liner with just a little wee flick at the end over here just to keep things simple. And then because I messed up so colossally with the shadows and I don't remember what I did, I took an eyelid primer. This one's from NARS. It's the smudge proof eyeshadow base. Applied it to the back of my hand and then applied the 3 shadows that I don't know what I did with them. So this is shade number 2, that is number 4, and that is the matte shade number 5. So I applied them using the same brush. I just cleaned off the brush in between just so that you can see how they actually differ from each other when I know exactly what they are and once they're blended out. So hopefully that helps to correct my earlier error. All right, so initial impressions are that I'm very impressed by the quality of these shadows. I had no issues blending any of them, no transfer, even the black didn't transfer down. It blended out beautifully. It is very intense on the eyes, but blends so nicely. I'm super impressed in particular by the matte shades in this palette. I can see myself getting a lot of use out of this. I don't rock a dark smoky eye like this all the time, but honestly, if it was as easy as this one was, I might rock it a hell of a lot more often. So I'm very happy with that. I have no buyer's remorse with this palette, so that's a good thing because returning it to Beautylish, pain in the ass. I really like the packaging. I like how sleek it is. I like how just functional everything is. There's nothing there for the sake of just being cutesy or anything of that sort. There's no wasted space. It's just very practical, and I like that. I don't necessarily think he needs to put a black in every palette going forward. Such is his choice as the brand owner and the creative designer behind it. I personally don't feel like I need a black in every palette, but it's a good black for what it's worth. Do I think you need this palette? No, the color story is not revolutionary. I think what you're purchasing when you buy this is his name, first of all, and you're buying the quality of the shadows. So I'm not going to say that these are the best quality shadows that I've ever used. I will say that they're right up there. I'm not disappointed with them at all, but I don't think you need to throw out all of your other neutral palettes that you probably have in order to replace it with this. Is it a nice addition? Yes. Am I going to use it? Yes. So I have no regrets in purchasing it, but I'm not going to sit here and say like, you absolutely have to go and buy this. This is unlike anything else that you own. I'd love to say that to you, but I just don't think it's necessarily accurate because there are some really great quality shadows out there that do have this color story. But if you're interested in trying his formula in specific, I don't think that you're going to have regrets with this. So we'll put it that way. I, for one, am happy that I purchased it. I look forward to seeing what else he does in future. If he can nail this kind of matte formula in brighter colors, then I will be in line to purchase those as well. But I'm hoping that he doesn't just stick with the neutral train. I think it makes sense, especially from an artist's perspective. I think it makes sense as an initial launch, but I do hope that he branches into more colorful options as well, if only because the quality is as good as it is. All right, so that is it. If I have not addressed something that you had a question about, feel free to leave it for me down below. I will do my best to answer it. But otherwise, I just wanted to let you know what my first initial opinions of this palette are. And as I've said, overall, they are very positive. So with that, I'm going to wrap this video up. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch, and I will see you in my next one. Until then, just be a decent human being. Bye for now.